My book, Unfuck Your Mind, coming out January 11th, 24. I talk about my journey with Lyme and so much more, and how if we don't heal from our past, break the invisible chains that we might not even know are there, we're just going to stay stuck in mediocrity. And I believe that we're each put on this earth and we each have a purpose, but we got to live that life. Stop giving your power away. Hi, Janna here. I hope you all are doing well. I can't believe that it's like almost Christmas time. By the time you hear this, it'll be, probably mid-December, close to Christmas. And I just really feel like this year flew by fast. I do want to give an important update. So my book, I originally was going to have it come out December 11th. And I decided that I needed to add a little bit more to it. It's kind of a little bit of a bonus I've added to it, and I just felt like my reader would need this. So the new release date for my book, Unfuck Your Mind, is January 11th, 24. So it's just around the corner. If you haven't already, please go to revivedbyjanna.com and click on book and sign up for the wait list. My book's going to be out. It's going to be on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and many, many more. So get ready for that. And I'm just so excited about that. It's really been a true labor of love. So I want to talk about my journey with Lyme disease. I feel like it's been a bit since I talked about it. My first few episodes were really about Lyme, and I've done a few podcast interviews lately where I was the guest, and that's really what they always want to know about is my journey with Lyme disease. And so I just kind of felt a pull to discuss that today. In specific with Lyme disease, what I want to discuss is my journey of recovery with it. And if you want to know more about my Lyme disease story, just kind of how it came about and how I finally figured out what it was. If you go to season 1 of this podcast, Revive with Janna, you will find those episodes. I think there's like at least 2 where I really talk about my story with Lyme disease. So I want to talk about my recovery with it. I was on my dear friend, one of my best friends and my mentor, Amberly Lagos, podcast, True Grit and Grace, the other day, which, by the way, if you don't listen to that, you're missing out. Top 1% global. But anyways, we were talking about this, and it's kind of what prompted me to do this episode about recovery, because the thing with Lyme disease, or overcoming, any sickness or disease, is the recovery, because it is the recovery where we can get lost. It is the recovery where we give up. The recovery is really what makes or breaks you healing and getting well. And, you don't need to be sick with Lyme or any disease to listen to this episode and learn something, because we all have things we have to recover from in life. Sometimes that's with our work life. Sometimes it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We all have recovery that we need to do. If you don't, then you're not growing. You're not healing. There's always, to me, I think life is just like you're constantly healing and growing and improving. And in order to get through that successfully, recovery is, I think, a key component. And, what I did to get well with Lyme disease, yes, that helped me immensely, but it was my approach to the recovery that I think was really the ultimate game changer. So I'll give you a quick little rundown real fast, because everybody always wants to know how I got well. And, what pill did you take? What medicine? And you know what? I know when you're really sick, you just want that magic little pill, huh? The cure, overnight cure. It doesn't exist. But I'll tell you what, your body, everyone's body has an innate ability to heal. given it the right environment. Our bodies were designed to be able to heal and to overcome, repair, rejuvenate if given the right environment. Who gives the right environment? You do. 80% of your immune system is in your gut. Most of your neurotransmitters produced in your gut. So your key to the ultimate optimal health is your immune system, your brain health, your immune system, your gut health, all of it. So for me, I tried doing the doxycycline when I was sick with Lyme disease. I tried the Zane protocol, and when I say I tried, I mean like I tried like months. I did all sorts of stuff, and this was almost 11 years ago. So I'm sure there's much better things to do now, but unfortunately, nothing's that great. And doxycycline is the go-to. The doxycycline is the antibiotic. It only works if you take it right when you get the tick bite, right when you are possibly infected with the Borrelia bacteria, that Lyme disease. That's when it works. It doesn't work when the bacteria has been able to set in your body and turn into chronic Lyme, because what happens is it burrows deeper and deeper into your tissues, and the antibiotics don't do anything. So for me, it was a multi-system approach. I took essential oils, and you absolutely never just want to go take essential oils. You better know exactly which ones you can take internally, which ones are topical, which ones are just aromatic, because you could really hurt yourself if you did them wrong. And so for me, I used essential oils to kill the bacteria, and this was a very particular tincture that I used, that I created. It's not just any oil at all. Also, using therapeutic grade A oils is essential. And, when the bacteria dies, it has to be able to get out of your body, right? And so your lymphatic system, which is your body's detoxification system, is huge. And, your cardiovascular system has the heart, right, to pump it, make it work. But our lymphatic system doesn't have, a little engine, a little motor. And so dry brushing, infrared saunas, hot cold showers, light exercising, lymphatic massages, these are all different types of lymphatic system exercises, so to speak, that get it working. And so you constantly have to be able to get the dead bacteria out of your body and all of its toxins. When Lyme disease, when it gets that biofilm around it, that's what makes it really hard to penetrate, right? Especially the antibiotics. When you do kill it, the biofilm bursts and all those nasty little toxins come out. And you know what that creates? It creates what's called a die-off reaction. A lot of people, when they experience any sort of die-off with Lyme disease or anything else, they quit. And the reason is because you feel like your symptoms have gotten worse. Like, oh my gosh, I just started taking those oils, and a few weeks later, I feel worse than I ever did. I can't take those. Those made it worse. What you don't realize, though, is that that's actually a really good sign, because you have to have the bacteria in your body that are making you so sick, they have to die. And when they die, they're going to release all those nasty little toxins that are currently making you sick, right? Okay. So if that bacteria that's in your body is making you sick, then when it dies and all that nasty stuff dies with it that's making you sick, it's going to make you feel worse temporarily. But guess what? As you're working on your lymphatic system and being gentle with your body and just letting your body do what it was designed to do, when that die-off is over, which is anywhere from 3 to 5 days, sometimes the die-off can be 7 days. But when that die-off is over, you feel better than you felt before the die-off. So recovery is being able to listen to your body and to really pay attention, being in tune with your body, letting your body go through the process and the systems it needs to go through. Okay. Our bodies are very delicate, and, you can't be sick and have something so nasty like Lyme bacteria in your body and not feel a little shitty when it dies off. So a lot of people, and I've worked with, people who just the die off comes. And honestly, the best thing I could ever prepare someone for that's going through that healing process and battling something like Lyme disease is the die off, the recovery, because that's the hard part. Um, I was so sick with Lyme disease. It infected my brain so bad. My neurological symptoms were so intense that I felt absolutely crazy. The brain fog, which by the way, brain fog is inflammation in your brain. That's what brain fog means. Well, the inflammation in my brain was so severe that the brain fog didn't even feel like brain fog anymore. It felt like it's what's called derealization or depersonalization. What that means is exactly what it sounds like. Nothing felt real to me. I felt like I wasn't even really alive and just like something else had taken over my body. That's how infected my brain was. And I had thankfully studied so much on the essential oils and what die-offs were that I was mentally prepared. And then when that die-off hit, I was like, okay, all right, this is good. Yeah, I feel a little worse, but I think this is a die-off because this was my first one, right? At this point, I was sick with Lyme disease for 2 years. So, I had already gotten worse. So I had no idea if this was really a die-off or something else. But then I just remember like day 3 of the die-off, which I still wasn't sure it was one. Man, I felt so sick. I just wanted to be put in a straitjacket and I just wanted to give up. But I was just like, I can't, because and if I give up, but I am truly having a die-off, which means the oils are working, then I'll never know. And I'm so sick that like it really can't get much worse. So I'm willing to see this through. I want to see it out. And my first die off was around 5 days long and it was intense. And I didn't know, I was not for sure if I was even going through a die off. And then I remember on day 6 when I woke up and I was just like, I felt just a little better, which at that point, a little better was massive improvements because I had never had one moment of feeling remotely better for over 2 years. And I was like, I think I had a die off. And then another, 10 days, 2 weeks went by and I had another one. Is each die off happened, which was about one every 2 weeks. But you have to think if they're lasting 3 to 7 days, then by the time one ended a week later, here comes another. This cycle went on and on for about 4 months. But like I said, as each one happened, I was well aware what was going on. And so I just continued to move forward. And about 3 months into killing the Lyme disease off with the essential oils, that was when, because I didn't stop researching, that was when I learned about food is either your medicine or your poison. At that time, paleo was just now kind of coming out, right? And I had been eating paleo. The doctor, my functional medicine doctor, had me with a nutritionist that had me eating paleo, but I was still eating a lot of fruits, and I was having honey and maple syrup and things like that. And I just remember when I came across keto, and I always wanted to learn about something, right? I never wanted to just rule anything out, and I've always loved learning. And I remember reading about keto, and I was just like, this makes sense to me. Something about this feels right. And that's when I learned that sugar feeds all diseases. And when I say sugar, I don't mean just junk food and candy. I'm talking fruit juices, high sugar fruits like red apples, grapes, oranges, bananas, like that kind of stuff. And it was just like, oh man, like sweet potatoes. So I'd already eliminated all grains because I was doing paleo, and I didn't have corn and I didn't have dairy. And so what I did next was really the ultimate game changer in my recovery, in my healing. And that was when I went full keto, got my body into ketosis. And it's really important that if you do keto, you do it the right way. It's not just about eating a bunch of nasty meats that are not clean sources, and butter and just anything that doesn't register carbs, but maybe it's full of artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols. That is absolutely not what I did. That is called fake keto. I did true keto, lots of healthy fats, fish, clean, lean sources of meats, lots of leafy greens and vegetables, and nuts. I did like that kind of stuff. MCT oil. I learned how to do intermittent fasting. I started to incorporate cultured foods. As I did that, I was starving the disease out, right? Because the disease needed that sugar to live. I stopped giving it, but I started to heal my gut. I started to feed the disease out, but feed Janna the nutrients that I needed. Because when you have something like Lyme disease, the bacteria, they steal all the nutrients that you're taking and getting from foods and supplements. And my body was then able to start to absorb everything that I really needed. And as I started to heal my gut and eat that way, that was the ultimate game changer in me noticing vast improvements. And after 4 months of taking the essential oils, the Lyme disease was completely eradicated from my body that had been in there for over 2 years. And I felt it, because there's no description I could ever give to someone to tell you how it felt to have that kind of disease and be that sick. You know when it's gone. And it was like a 10-ton blanket was lifted off my shoulders. But I wasn't completely well yet, because I still had hypothyroidism, and I still had candida overgrowth, and I still had so much going on. But the Lyme disease was the trigger to all of it. And so once I healed my body from Lyme disease, I was able to completely heal my gut, get rid of the candida overgrowth, and heal my thyroid, so that probably 10 months after the Lyme was eradicated from my body, I was able to completely get off of all thyroid medication. And I had hypothyroidism really, really bad from the Lyme disease. So I was taking a pretty large amount of thyroid medication. And the doctors couldn't believe I was able to heal my thyroid. But the reason my thyroid stopped working was because my immune system had turned on me because of the Lyme disease. So it makes sense that as you heal your gut and your immune system stops having all the alarm bells go off, that you 100% can heal yourself. And that's what I did. But my recovery, guys, was not easy. I had to fight every single day to keep doing what I was doing. There was nobody I could see at the end of a finish line, or know if there was a finish line, holding a flag like, hey, over here, you're going to get there, you're going to make it. I didn't have that promise. There was not one person that was showing me this way. My doctors supported me in my decisions, but they didn't know. Heck, my doctor was calling me after I got well, asking me what I did. And I had no idea what I was doing, but the doctors didn't know either. And all I knew is that I just believed that I could get well. And if you listen to some of those first few episodes in season 1, you'll hear me talk about that, the moment where I realized, I've lived 2 years with this disease, and I became the victim. I was the victim mindset and believing all the negative stories about it. And it can't be fully eradicated from your body. You won't get well. And why me? This sucks. What did I ever do? Until that one day where I reached my breaking point, right? And that's when I was like, F Lyme, fuck Lyme. You took over the wrong body, and it's time to get the heck out. And in that moment, I decided that I could get well. I said, fuck the naysayers. I choose differently. I will no longer look at or read or listen to negative stuff on Lyme disease. I didn't have anyone to support me. My family didn't understand it. And I just looked like a healthy person complaining all the time. No one could see my symptoms. No one could see what the hell that I felt inside. So recovery for me was fucking brutal. It was horrific. I had no emotional support, none. Hell, half of it I just kept to myself, because I just didn't want to hear people's shit and their opinions. I did what I had to do for me. I believed in something that I had no idea if it was ever going to happen. And that's called faith. Faith is believing in something that you cannot see, that you're not even certain about. And my faith is what awoke in my inner warrior, that woke my ass up into believing differently. And when I started to believe, hey, you know what? I can get well. Hey, you know what, Lyme? Get the fuck out of my body. When I decided to believe and think differently, I did differently. And my actions followed that every day. And that mental mindset shift that I had is what got me through the recovery recovering from Lyme disease is absolute hell. It is a long, hard road. If I make it sound easy, don't mistake it. It was not easy at all. It was brutal. It was tough. It was like traveling in a road into the unknown. I didn't see the light. I didn't see the finish line. I didn't know. But I knew if I didn't go down the road of the unknown, the only other road was to stay stuck and just accept that that was my fate. So recovery, my journey of recovery was hard, guys, but I need to share this with you so that if you're in a similar situation or know someone that is, or if, heaven forbid you ever have to go through one, you'll remember this and you will know that, you know what, sometimes life sucks. It's going to throw you some curveballs. Adversity is going to come your way. No, you're not going to deserve it. No, you didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, it's fucked up. Yeah, it sucks. But you can either sit there and you can think that every day and time's going to go by and you have given your power away, or you can get the fuck up, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, and you can get through it. So either sit across from the fire, fire's your adversity, and you just watch it burn every single thing that you know, or you walk through that damn fire and you let it burn the parts of you that no longer serve you so that you can become all that you're meant to be. And that part that I just shared with you is literally right out of my book, Unfuck Your Mind, coming out January 11th, 24. I talk about my journey with Lyme and so much more, and how if we don't heal from our past and break the invisible chains that we might not even know are there, we're just going to stay stuck in mediocrity. And I believe that we're each put on this earth and we each have a purpose, but we got to live that life. Stop giving your power away. And you know what? We all need to recover from something in our life. And recovery is not easy. But you know what? You grow in the discomfort. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for just your support and your love. Oh, I do need to share some good news. I found out that Revive with Janna, 9-month-old podcast, ranked in the Apple Top 100, number 78 in nutrition in Australia. And that's a pretty big deal. But I got to thank all of you, all of my listeners. I love you all. And thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you soon.